Thank you very much, Pastor Shell. It's a pleasure to welcome all of you here for this special joint service, which includes members of the Lee community and our students and faculty, and members of the Broad Street United Methodist Church, and many, many other Clevelanders who are here because we have such an unusual opportunity to welcome such a wonderful guest to our community. Let me say to those of you who are visitors that this is, for us here at Lee, this is called U Church. This is something that we do on Sunday nights. The U means University Church. And on Sunday nights from 7:30 to 8:30 we meet in worship here on this campus. And we're so pleased to be able to join with members of Broad Street in this special U Church tonight. We hope those of you who are guests had no trouble finding a seat. We tried to clear our students out to make room for company. So thank you so much for being here. And we also have many of you who are visitors to our campus, have been in Dixon Center and in Squires Recital Hall, where we have many community musical events. And both those two venues have closed-circuit television from this venue, and we have students in those places tonight so that we can accommodate a larger crowd. We really appreciate not just the ministry of Broad Street in our Cleveland and Bradley County community, but we enjoy very much being neighbors in this downtown area and having the opportunity to lead in worship and worship together with this wonderful congregation and with Pastor Shell is really a pleasure for us. And it's particularly a pleasure that they have brought to us our guest speaker. There are few voices in the world today that speak more persuasively and with greater integrity of the claims of the Christian faith than our guest, Dr. Ravi Zacharias. Dr. Zacharias was born in India and lived as a young man in Canada, but he now lives in Atlanta, and so he's practically a neighbor of ours. This is practically a home crowd for him, being as close to Atlanta as he is, because he's truly a citizen of the world, and his work takes him around the world over and over again. He is not only a leading voice in Christian apologetics, but he has worked in the field of apologetics, not just in the ivory tower of academic theology, but he has a real heart and passion to take the claims of the Christian gospel to the marketplace of ideas and to engage in this fairly fierce cultural and intellectual war that we all know about and which seems to be so much a part of the world in which we live. Most of you know his bio, but let me just take a few minutes just to mention some of the things in the off chance someone is here tonight who doesn't remember Dr. Zacharias' background. He has spoken in colleges and universities around the world, and in many, many Christian meetings. He is so greatly in demand because of the uniqueness of his voice and the way he thinks and presents the claims of the Christian faith. He's spoken at places like Harvard, Princeton, and Oxford, and is now a senior research fellow at Oxford at Wycliffe Hall. He has authored or edited 20 books, and his weekly radio program, which is called Let My People Think, is on 1,700 outlets worldwide and has a very large audience, Dr. Zacharias, and following here in Cleveland, Tennessee, and on this campus. Calls the program Let My People Think. Well, Dr. Zacharias, you are on a campus and in a community where we love to think and where you have helped to shape the way we think, and it's a great honor that we have to welcome you to this microphone tonight. Help me welcome Dr. Ravi Zacharias.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks so much. Thank you. 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 Thank Thank you. Thank you. Whenever that happens, I feel like ending at that moment. And you can always say it ended with a thunderous applause. It doesn't always end that way. But it's nice to be here. My colleague Corinne and I drove in from Atlanta this afternoon. We don't really, it's not too often we are within driving distance of our hometown. This week it happens to be that. I was not far from home on Friday speaking to a group of 100 plus leaders from Islamic nations, and they were dealing with the whole area of the Arab Spring. Fascinating to hear some of them and present an apologetic and a challenge to them. And now here, I think, thus endeth the lesson is about it, because I don't know if I'm doing anything more within Atlanta's driving distance for the rest of the year. It's all great distances away. I do a big trek between Atlanta and the Orient quite often, and that long flight of 14 and a half hours from Atlanta to Seoul non-stop, celebrate a few birthdays along the way, and then get off and connect to wherever you're going. My wife would have been here too, but 3 months ago, I better get this right or I'll get slaughtered, we became grandparents for the first time. So I was thrilled to tell the world I'm now married to a grandmother. And in fact, his name is Jude. And nice to hear that verse quoted from the book of Jude. He's an amazing little boy, came in several weeks early. I was traveling for 7 weeks.